So I appreciate all of your initiative to attend today's session and upgrade your knowledge, because somewhere, as a facility manager, we are all responsible people. We are all responsible for the safety and security of the employees who are working in our organization. Somewhere we are also responsible for the safety and security of our environment also. And today's session, we will be discussing on that. Okay, so before we start today's session, let me explain you what we do. So, Institute for Facility Managers and Engineers, it's a 12-year-old institute. Since 2011, we are into the training of facility management professionals. And just for your information, we do not entertain any freshers to attend this program, because this program may not be helpful for the freshers. We always encourage people with a minimum experience of 6 months to attend our program and upgrade their skills. I know, a lot of us, are aware that, facility management is not only housekeeping and security, it is way beyond that. And where at times you will have to, deal with the data, take a decision based of the, informations available, the data available, and, strategize your company's policy, process, facility management, to ensure that the operations are going on smoothly. The company's management is without any pressure, without any thinking about the environment and the safety of the employees, they can conduct their business. So since 2011, we are conducting these sessions. We have trained more than 700 people till to date. And every year we conduct at least 2 to 3 batches. Each batches goes for 2.5 months. It's a vast training program. We cover all the aspects of facility management. If you see, we talk about HVAC, and we don't talk about how to repair an HVAC. We talk about how best you can manage your HVAC system. So the whatever system you are looking at here, we talk and we inform people how best you can manage your air conditioning system. So if you see, a lot of these systems are also related to the environment. Like, the more you electricity consume on your HVAC, the more you are harming the environment. So this is just an example I am giving. If you are not able to maintain your diesel generator, it will end up polluting the environment. If you have a transport facility, if your transport cars or bikes, cars which you use for transportation of your employee, or buses you use, if they are not maintained well, they will end up in polluting the environment. So our intention is to ensure upgrade you with the knowledge which can help you in managing your facility efficiently. If you, for example, you are managing your HVAC efficiently, the byproduct of this is you're saving the environment from pollutions. Carbon footprint is reduced at an extent, or it is controlled at an extent. You save electricity cost for your organization. So these are your byproducts by simply maintaining your HVAC system. So these are all subjects we cover, and for more details, you can visit our website, facilitymanagementinstitute.com, and you'll find a lot of informations and feedback from our alumni. So we have these are our faculty. Dr. Monica Singh is there. Then myself, Ramesh Upadhyay. I'm in this industry since last 32 years. Jitendra Kumar is in this industry since last 32 years. Sanjeev Gautam is with 20 years. Vijaya is there since last 25, 30 years. Mr. Shamsher Ali is there since last 35, 36 years. So, and these are the alumni's testimonial, which is available on the website. Sample I have taken here. You can go through it whenever you have time. It's available on our web page. And, you will always be confused whether which training you should attend. So IFMA is there, we are there. There are other colleges imparting training, courses in MBA in facility management. So take a wise decision. Understand, because what we are teaching, what information we will be sharing in our sessions, you can immediately use it. It will help you in cracking your interviews for a senior position, and help you in upgrading your skills. The colleges, what they teach, they may not help you as a level manager. It may help you, because I am not gone through their course content, so I cannot comment much. But I have held Pune University in designing a program, BBA program in facility management and hospitality, and I can see their attitude, how they work. So they are not interested in sharing a good information. They are always interested into a kind of imparting the book knowledge, which may not be that helpful. Okay, so I hope there are many our alumni today who has some of them have joined today also to upgrade their skills. So now I would like to hand it over to Jitendra, who will take it forward. I would not waste your much time, and Jitendra will help you with the session on sustainability with respect to facility management.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I think many have logged in actually through their phones, and also will not be able to make out actually who they really are. Maybe I don't know if old students have joined in. I think that would be a good learning, because when we have taught the previous batches, we had not covered this subject actually during that point of a time. So I hope it will be beneficial for them as well.
So Jitendra, I made you the host. You can start the session. So by the time Jitendra start, I would like to just brief you. You must have come across this news today. Every day there is a news running around with respect to Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, where every next day there is a landslide. Now, this is because of non-sustainable development in this area, and that is resulting into the loss of life and the assets. Okay, so our development is the need of the hour. We have to develop ourselves, we have to develop our environment, our surroundings. But before developing, we should think that how our development is going to affect the environment and our surrounding. Now, any businesses which are being conducted, whether you stay at your home or you carry out any business function or manufacturing activity, somewhere there will be a byproducts, and these byproducts will be impacting the environment, and will be impacting the environment. And our development should be in such a way that instead of impacting the environment, we should work in hand with the environment to ensure that the future of our children is safeguarded. It should not happen that tomorrow they come up and say, okay, our ancestors had not left a single drop of water for us. Now, how should we survive? You must have come across a lot of news, where the global warming is happening. This year, this July was the hottest July on the earth in last 200 to 300 years. The water temperature, sea level water temperature has increased by 1 degree Celsius. So somewhere, our activity is started damaging the environment. So you know, as a citizen of this world, uh, as an individual, we can't take policy decisions, but wherever possible, whichever organization we are working in, if we intend to our intents are clear, and we if we take corrective action, I think somewhere there will be a small contribution from our end in reducing this impact on the environment. Now, a lot of you people maybe have a thought process that paper is a recyclable material, so we can start recycling the paper, so we can waste the paper because it is recycled, so we are saving the trees from cutting. Now let me inform you, I have worked in past for a paper industry, and I know how this industry operates. Okay, so I have worked for a paper manufacturing companies also. See, I have seen a lot of time in offices, people, end up wasting tissue papers or the printer papers. They give a printout and they never go back to the printer and pick up the printers. You must have observed in your offices that bunch of papers after printing it's simply lying. So it's an additional cost to your organization, and it's a direct impact to the environment. You end up tearing this paper and sending for recycling. So just imagine, just to recycle 1 kg of paper, 10 to 25 liters of water is consumed, and around 2.98 kilowatt of energy is consumed to recycle 1 kg of paper. So this 10 to 25 liters of water, it's not only wasted, it also pollutes the environment also, because there are a lot of chemicals like urea to whitening the paper, caustic soda to clean the paper, remove the ink from it. So a lot of chemicals are added into this water to recycle this paper. Now, these chemical will end up getting into the, if not treated well, and you know how the Indian companies they operate. They will try and just pump it out simply instead of recycling it. If nobody is observing in night time, they end up draining it into the drainage system. This water will end up into the river and impacting the aqua and fauna in the river. Now, in your city, I know people are attending from across the country. You must have observed that in your city, whenever you pass through a river, you will find a foul smell emanating from the river. Now, that river is emanating foul smell because all the drainage from the houses, the commercial properties are being released in the river without treating it. Okay, the manufacturing units are also releasing a number of untreated water into this water bodies, whether it's a lake or whether it's a river. A lot of time you must have seen a video on the social media of Bangalore, where the Bangalore and Yamuna river in the Delhi, where huge amount of foam is floating on the river because of the chemicals which is being released into the river. So we think that, okay, we are using the paper, it is recyclable, we can easily recycle it. So hence I'm saving, by recycling a paper, I'm saving a tree from getting cut. Okay, you are saving a tree from getting cut, but you are wasting 25 liters of water in recycling it. You are polluting the water body. You are also adding to the carbon footprint into the environment. Okay, so just for your information, I have extracted this data from the government's portal. In our country, we are 56.8% of total electricity generated is generated from the fossil fuel. Now, what is fossil fuel? Fossil fuel is your coal, diesel, furnace oil. Uh, I would suggest everybody to mute yourself, please. Sunil, can you mute yourself, please? Okay, thank you. So So guys, please mute yourself. It's unnecessary disturbing others. So this fossil fuel is adding to the carbon footprint. Now imagine uh, every 1 kilowatt of electricity consumed from the fossil fuel is, releasing 0.85 kg carbon dioxide into the environment. And this is as per the Government of India CA version 6 data which is released recently. This is the information I have extracted from here. So every 1 kilowatt electricity you consume 0.85 kg CO2 or carbon is being released in the environment and you're impacting the environment. A lot of people today have, they think that the, battery operated cars and scooters on the road, they are saving the environment. But until unless the electricity which is consumed by these cars and the scooters is not generated by the solar or any wind energy, wind turbine, uh, they are adding into the carbon emission into the environment, so they are polluting the environment. Apart from polluting the environment, the battery which they use uh, uh, is very dangerous in nature. You must have seen a number of videos on the social media where when this battery gets exploded, it's a dangerous battery. It catches the fire which cannot be easily extinguished. And the second thing is recycling of these batteries are another challenges because these batteries are very difficult to recycle. So, as per the research from World Economic Forum shows, building consumes 40% of global energy and contributes 33% of greenhouse gas emissions. Now, what are the greenhouse gas? The carbon emission, because you are generating, you are consuming the electricity, so carbon footprint is there. Apart from that, the gases which you use for your air conditioning plants, those gases are also considered as a greenhouse gases. Then the gases which you use for, gas separation system for your data center or server room, so they are also greenhouse gases which will add into. Now there are a lot of technological changes into these gases, so they are now environment friendly, but in earlier days it used to impact the environment. Jitendra, next slide please. So
Mr. Ashish here. I
yes,
have one question. Can
yes,
I? Ashish Gankar.
yeah, go ahead, Ashish.
Okay, we are talking about sustainability and all those stuff. Okay, from past 1 decade. Okay, a
Right.
question arises in my mind. Okay, now we are talking about EVs and all those stuffs.
Mm-hmm.
So EVs contains the lithium batteries.
Right.
Okay, so do you think that they are eco-friendly or they follow the sustainability model? Because I have some different perception about it.
Now, see, lithium batteries, as I said, it's a very dangerous battery. It's easy to recycle a lead acid battery, but it's difficult task to recycle a lithium battery. I don't know what policies government has come up with recently. I'm not aware about these policies, but I have worked for a oil and gas company in past. You will not believe we used to store these lithium batteries into a air conditioned storage, and we were not allowed to dispose of this battery in the country. We used to resend this because that time lithium batteries were not manufactured in India. It was imported from other country and it used to be sent to the country of origin for recycling. So government has come up with EV vehicles, but I think somewhere the clarity on recycling of lithium batteries is a problem. They still do not have a policies on this. So I'm not that much aware about the policy, if any, recently if they have come up. But
Ramesh,
yeah,
Ramesh, can I
yeah,
take this? Can I
yeah,
take
please,
this?
please.
Okay, that's a very good question actually. Your lithium ions, basically it's a rare earth element. And when I say it's a rare earth element, so that means uh, it is almost similar to what we are using fossil fuels. To some extent, it might be environmental friendly in a sense. The pollution is not getting created. To that
Sir,
extent, it
Jiten
is
sir, I
fine.
just wanted to cut you here. For mine, this thing,
Yeah,
it's a rare earth material. I can understand. Even the solar panels, what we are using, they have been manufactured by us through the rare materials what are available. Okay,
yeah.
but if you see the background of these things,
Hmm.
we are hampering our environment, because to dig these to pull out these rare earth materials from the earth crust, we are digging the earth crust like anything. Don't you think
Yeah,
these are not sustainability? It's not a form of sustainability, if you ask me, sir. We call it the solar power, we call it the other form of power, but the rare earth materials are being used to manufacture these panels and all those stuffs.
I
So
understand.
how we are telling ourselves that we are following sustainability?
I'll tell you one thing. When we talk about the science, when we talk about science revolution, everything actually impacts your environment. You might remember, I don't know, during your days, you'll have had these debates or not, but during our days, actually, right from school days, we used to have this debate whether science is a curse or a boon. As far as the development takes place, there will be a waste generation, there will be an environmental impact. But the question is, how much of an environmental impact is affordable by us and what is not affordable by us? If you see our culture, especially when I talk about the Indian culture, actually, the science development has started when? Post 18th century. Maximum of the things, when your lights came into existence, your diesel engines came into existence, we invented fossil fuels. All this stuff came actually post 18th century only. Before 18th century, people were still surviving on this planet. Their waste generation was less. Their pollution was less. If you see the olden pattern of a village as what India had, there was no such waste generation which was not absorbed actually by the earth. I still remember uh, Modi saying in one of the forums of Russia after becoming a prime minister, actually, he said that we have only right of a milking of a galaxy. So what does that mean? Since we are surviving on this planet, we we need to consume. And what are the materials what we have? It's the atmospheric or the earth substance. Based on that only we are trying to survive on that. Let it be, we are doing agriculture, but the thing is that which is cyclable, which we can recycle it, which can be used again and again. That is a sustainable way of life. But the problem is that development, there has to be an economic development also, because without economic development you cannot sustain on this planet. So because of that economic development, all your science developments, your research, everything has come into practice. Some way or the other, it is impacting. That is the reason why we are having a global warming today. We are talking about today your hydrogen fuels, the green fuels. Why are we talking about today? Why didn't we talk about that in 18th century? 18th century, we found out that coal was there, that was sufficient enough to provide us energy, and we all went for a thermal plants. Whereas we had plenty of rivers, we could have gone for actually hydro plants. But the requirement what we needed, our demand, was not being fulfilled by the hydro plants. That's the reason your coal was a cheaper alternative. People even went for your all hydro plants. Still today in India, 70% of your electricity is being generated by a thermal plant. We talk about China. China has developed so much, industrialization has taken so much. Still, 80% of their requirement is being fulfilled by coal. You remember just a year back, we had there was a news where it said that China was flooded and they were not able to extract coal actually from the mines. And that was a moment when Australia has stopped supplying coal actually to China. The major cities had gone, it had darkened actually that time. They were running under the scarcity of electricity. So what I'm trying to say is that we cannot stop development, human development, because there is an economic factor which is related to that. But what we can do is that we can control it. We can try to use our resources in such a way that it can sustain for a longer period and generations and generations to come. This is what is all about sustainability. Today we are talking about your ozone layer depletion. Why are we talking about ozone layer depletion? We are crying actually the global warming has taken place. Your glaciers are melting. These are all the end results of your environmental pollution. But today, if we don't think about it, today, if we don't talk about it, we don't implement things, then what will happen tomorrow? Tomorrow, maybe we might also get converted like what had happened in Mars. It's a saying that life existed actually on Mars, but today it's not there. You'll agree with me? Now imagine if a temperature of Earth rises from the 50 degree, which we have almost touched, if it rises to 65 or 70 degrees centigrade, what will happen? Will you find any water actually on this planet? Your evaporation cycle will be so high. We will not be able to sustain actually in this atmosphere. Today, because of the urbanization, you see that we have deforested everything. How many people they see plants actually in the metros? Now, the main source of your oxygen is your plants. If we keep doing deforesting like this, how long are we going to sustain? Because water and oxygen, these are the two ingredients for our survival. That's very important because without that we can't survive. But if we ourselves keep harming this nature, do you think that it will be everlasting? That is never going to happen. So one fine day, as we are talking about that beyond 2050, we will not be having fossil fuels. Maybe tomorrow, similar way, we will be talking about that we will not be having your lithium and minerals also. So that is where the universe is talking about sustainability. And yes, governments across the globe, they have tried incentivizing people so that people they get attracted towards that, and because of some monetary benefits which a government is giving, at least this can be applied. Similar to like population burst. China had a population burst. Okay, they came up with a policy, that one child policy. Why did they come with that? They have a repercussions of that today. That maximum of the population is like they fall under the aged category. They don't have large section of a younger population. But they had to control the population, because if you're not controlling your population, what is going to happen is that whatever the resources, the earth resources we have, we are consuming it. And there's one of the census which was done by US. It said that even after taking all these steps, our population is going to grow by 8.5 billions by 2050. Now imagine a scenario if we had not taken all these steps. Like India said, hum do hamare do. China said one child policy. If we had not controlled those population growth, then what would have happened? There would have been scarcity of everything on this planet. Do you know that for a person, he requires 2.7 hectares of a land to survive on this planet? If a per person land is 2.7 hectares, then your survival is feasible. Today, we have reached a stage where it has come down to 2.1 hectare per person. Tomorrow, if the population grows more, it will further reduce. What is going to happen? There will be a chaos actually created. You'll have scarcity of food, you'll have scarcity of everything actually on this planet. How are we going to survive? Do you remember the Paris Agreement? US is said to have like one of the most developed country actually on this planet. Even after agreeing to the Paris Agreement, they walked out of that. Now imagine a country which is fully developed, economically developed, still that country had to take a call saying that, no, we'll not be able to actually meet the terms and conditions actually of the Paris Agreement. And what was Paris Agreement? It was just to reduce the green gas so that your global warming can be reduced. So human nature is such that human wants whatever is in his benefit. Maybe a short-sighted. People, they get bent towards that. And they don't realize actually what harm they're doing actually to the nation. Now, just imagine so much of a war which is happening between Ukraine and Russia, so much of an ammunition being blasted. Can you imagine the amount of a pollution which is getting created? But who's worried about that? US is supplying, their entire Europe is supplying ammunition actually to Ukraine. Nobody's thinking about stopping that war. If anybody would have thought about the environment, if anybody would have thought about all these things, they would have never done that. Coming to your question, if you ask me, your lithium-ion batteries, your EV vehicles, for me is a stopgap arrangement. We are already working on an ethanol fuel. There is a company, Toyota, which has already invented an internal combustion engine of hydrogen. So very soon you'll find that this fuel system is going to change. Maybe like ethanol based will not be sufficient actually to meet the entire demand of the globe, or maybe of our country also, but yet some section of it will be fulfilled. Like similarly what we are doing about a renewable energy today. Your solar cannot fulfill the entire demand, but solar can fill some gap of a demand. Same thing we are doing with the wind energy. We are doing with the tidal energy. We are doing it even with your nuclear, this thing, whatever we are trying to do. Only a small section of the energy demand is being fulfilled by that, but still the last chunk of the energy demand is being fulfilled by the thermal plants only, and we need to find means and methods actually to replace that, because coal is one of the major reason actually for your global warming. I think Ramesh in the previous slide, he showed you that for every 1 kWh generation, we are emitting 0.85 kgs of a CO2 in atmosphere. We cannot stop development. The energy requirement what we are having today, it has grown in multiples. Will you believe one data center, one full-fledged data center, maybe of a 4,000 square feet or a 5,000 square feet, it consumes so much of an energy which can light an entire small city. Your each processors, the new ones actually, which are consuming 18 amps per processor. Now, each server has almost like four processors in it. Now imagine each server, how much of an energy consumption is happening. And all this energy is coming from where? It's again, maximum is coming from a thermal plant. So we need to go through a clean energy. You won't believe, today in a global scenario, there's so many people, there's so many countries who are at stake if the fossil fuel utilization is stopped. Now, I think 2 days back, there was in the news when Gadkari came up actually, and he's very confident actually on his ethanol production and hydrogen hydrogen engines. Do you know how much of a crude oil imports we'll be saving up on that? It's almost $20 to $24 billion. At the same time, it will be environmental friendly. Now, it depends upon us how seriously we take it. And if we are not thinking today, believe me, another 2 to 3 generations, they'll not be able to see things what we are watching today or whatever we are availing today. That is one of the main reasons why your sustainability becomes very important today. If we talk about a Sanatan culture, we had this concept right within, it was embedded actually into our system, into our culture. But if you see the Western world, which is a major pollutants actually of the atmosphere, now they're talking about what? Levying taxes actually on the developing countries. But these are ways and means of doing it. But one thing is for sure, if we are not taking it seriously today, our future is going to be a dark actually. And what I foresee is that hydrogen is one of the best solutions for your sustainability, because neither it is, we have ample amount of water actually contained on the planet. The byproduct actually of your fuel cells is again oxygen and water only. So we are not polluting our environment, and that will be a big revolution. Do you know there's a country which is already plying vehicles actually on your hydrogen fuel? They are on complete hydrogen, that is Sweden. So we need to take this seriously and we need to work upon this, because if we don't think today, tomorrow will be because today what we are talking about your green buildings. That is only because even the capitalists, they're only interested because they are getting some incentives actually in your taxes. But saving taxes is not that important. Saving your environment is more important, because our survival depends upon our environment. If we don't save our environment today, tomorrow upcoming generations are going to have a very tough time. Or maybe one fine day they might extinct also from this planet. Hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ramesh. Ramesh, you can take over. You're there?
Sorry, I was on mute. So thank you, Jitendra. And, see, I just wanted to say that a lot of things we as an, a citizen of any country can't do much, because there are a lot of policy decision which has to be taken by the government and world bodies. So whatever we have, we should, think towards that. In a professional way, or the area where we are managing, we should work in a professional way. And today in this session, we will be talking about how you can, contribute to the sustainability by, managing few things, proficiently at your workplace. So just this data, I hope till now a lot of you people must have gone through this data. So here, the clear indication is that year on year 9% electricity consumption is increasing, and electricity is where which will be impacting the environment because of the carbon footprint, and it will be leading to the global warming. Okay, so the less we consume natural resources such as coal energy or diesel energy or furnace oil, the less we will impact the environment. So that's our intention. Can you change the slide, please? So from here, I think Jane, you should take over and
Okay.
let's start.
So we had been talking about on the some of the things actually what you should know. We will be talking about sustainability. This webinar is for sustainability, where we'll be covering what do you mean? What do we mean by sustainability? What do we mean by sustainable development? Why do we need sustainability? What we need to do? We'll talk about principles of sustainability from a facility management point of view, what you can do as an operators, and then we'll summarize this session. Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So when we take a dictionary meaning of sustainability, its ability to be maintained at a certain rate or level. So that means we are talking about maintaining. So which means that whatever the item it is not getting extinct. We can keep using it throughout the life. Yeah. The second meaning actually of this thing, the dictionary meaning gives, being a method of harvesting or using a resource so that the resource is not depleted or permanently damaged. Now, the best example actually for this is farming. I don't know how many of you all actually are connected to villages or agriculture. But if you might have observed that we rotate our crops actually when we do our farming. Why do we do that? Why do we do the rotation of crops?
Because the different there are some crops which gives some kind of the nutrition back to the earth, and some
Exactly.
nutrition they abstract, and again say for there is one particular type of crop we grow in the field is known as, is only for to make the fertile land.
Yeah. So that means we are maintaining the fertility of the soil so that growing of crops can continue everlasting. Or else what would happen if I'm extracting a same crop actually from that field, one fine day, the field is going to get infertile, and then we'll not be able to extract anything out of that field. Yeah. So that is your crop rotation for harvesting is one of the best method actually for maintaining the fertility of the soil. So this is what actually your sustainability means. The third meaning, it says that it meets the need of a present. So that means we will have our needs. That has to be met. But it should be without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So that means today I'm also consuming it. Tomorrow my future generations are also consuming it. It should not happen that I'm exhausting my entire fossil fuels in these generations, and then the next generation is not able to avail the facility of these things, such nature. So when we talk about sustainability, it has to be used actually, and it can be sustained actually for a longer period of time. That is what a sustainability means about. Now, there are three things which comes actually in this. One is the resources, what we have, because we cannot create resources. We have the same planet Earth, we have the atmosphere, we have a same content of items actually, limited content of items within this planet or the atmosphere. So we should know exactly what are our resources. Then we talk about a production, what we make from these resources. And then the lifestyle, how we use it. So if I'm doing all these things in a sustainable way, then what will happen that I'll be able to use my resources for a longer period of time, for generations to come. I will maintain my production which does not harm my environment. And the lifestyle, like we need to have everything. There was a news actually, I think a couple of months back, when the allied peoples actually on this globe, they wanted to see the sunk Titanic actually in the sea, and they went through a submarine, and finally everybody died. Now, I can have a lot of wishes, but I cannot be able to fulfill all those wishes actually, because I'll have to see what are my resources, how much it has an impact actually on the environment. So I will develop my lifestyle in such a way that I'm not harming the environment. But if I'm doing it, then the sustainability concept actually goes for a toss.
So, Jitendra, I would like to give an example here. I remember, in our earlier days, there never used to be a plastic bag or any paper bag. Okay. And whenever we used to go for a shopping, we used to carry our own cloth bag. Whether we are going for a shopping in a cloth store or a ration store or a kirana store, wherever we go, we used to carry our own bag. Today, people feel ashamed in carrying their own bag, and they end up asking for the plastic bag or the paper bag from the store, and ultimately these bags gets into the garbage. So that's the reason the garbage disposal and recycling is becoming a major headache for the municipal corporation. And that's the reason, municipal corporation has come up with an idea. Okay, now you reside in a residential complex, you start recycling your own garbage on your own. So see, this plastic bag somewhere, it is impacting our quality of soil. Nowadays, in the recent study, it has found that in seafood also plastic content is being found, and end of the day, those who are non-vegetarians, they end up eating this plastic and resulting into many diseases in these people. Apart from this plastic is also ending up into our food cycle, and it is started impacting even the vegetarians also. So it's not that only non-vegetarians are being impacted, everybody. People, we can, asking for
Yeah,
rightly said, why can't we ban plastic bag? But there are lobbies who will pressurize the government not to ban this, because they are into manufacturing, they pay huge funds to the government to make policy decisions. But what we can do,
Ramesh, we are losing you.
we can put this practice at our home, teach our children that do not ask for a plastic bag. Whenever you go for buying a vegetable in the market, carry your own cloth bag. When you're visiting a mall for buying clothes or any other items, carry your own bags. And once one of the vegetable vendors said, sir, what contribution you will make by not taking this plastic bag. So सब लेते हैं, आप क्यों नहीं लेते हो? तो आई सेड, सी, मेरे एक अकेले करने से अगर मैं 4 लोगों को चेंज कर सकता हूँ इन माय फैमिली, इफ आई कैन educate my family members, so today 4 people will be there, and tomorrow when their next generation comes up, uh, another 8 people will be there. So in this way I can increase. If we people can start taking this kind of initiative, I think we cannot make, as I said in starting, we cannot make a policy decisions, but we can control our own behavior, and the people around us, we can control their behavior. Yeah, Jane, you can take it forward, please.
Sure, thanks, Ramesh. Thanks for the insight. So please, let's take the sustainability forward. So sustainable development is a social ecological process characterized by the fulfillment of a human needs while maintaining the quality of the natural environment indefinitely. So indefinitely means it has to last forever. So if we have that type of an approach, I think then we are fulfilling all aspects actually of sustainability. And this is what is sustainable development actually. If we develop ourselves, our way of life, our living culture on these principles, then definitely this planet can be go on forever. Yeah. Who want like actually his grandchildren's to avail all the facilities actually what we are availing it today. Everybody would like that. So that will happen only if we start thinking actually on these lines. If we don't think on these lines, then definitely one fine day, the extinct will definitely going to come. So how can we do it? We can maintain our socio-economic systems indefinitely. And the oxymoron, our current socio-economic system depends upon exponential growth. Our everything is growing. Our demands are increasing, our population is growing. So everything is growing exponentially. Take it in a case of an energy itself. What was our energy requirement some 20, 25, 30 years back? It wasn't that much, but with the development of all this urbanization, not only urbanization, even our IT industry, the energy requirement has leaped in bounds. Now we cannot think about even survival. How many of you can think today surviving in a metro city without an air conditioning system? You won't be able to sustain. So we have made our lifestyle in such a way that we cannot live without that today. But there are so many things which is impacting our environment. Now, for example, air conditioning system, which is one of the major reasons actually for depletion of ozone layer. Why didn't the scientists or the people, those who invented that time, why did they go for refrigerant R33 that time, which was not environmental friendly? Why are we thinking about environmental friendly gases today, where the impact has taken so much, where a depletion of ozone layer has taken place? So this is where a government, this is where the society can help in conserving our environment. Today we are talking about your hydrogen propulsions, your hydrogen energy, clean energy. We could have thought about that because we had water that time also. But the biggest challenge or the biggest tyranny of a human being is that we always try to find the easiest way of doing it. So that time we invented coal. That was the easier way of getting energy. We did it. But the impact what it had in an environment was vast. So we need to think about means and the researchers which are environmental friendly, which are sustainable, which is not impacting. At the end of the day, if I'm impacting environment, what is happening? I'm impacting myself, but we don't realize that. Because our survival is not feasible if the environment doesn't exist. We exist because the environment exists. So if we don't conserve the environment, we are in fact harming ourselves. It is something like a slow poison. Maybe you might not see the impact immediately, but in a long run, you are harming yourself only. And we should always remember that we have only finite resources. We don't have infinite resources. Yeah. So that is where the sustainability question comes. We have a finite amount of space. We cannot increase our space. We cannot increase our minerals. Our resources have their own limits, and our technology has their limits. So we need to develop technologies which are environmental friendly. Just an example, everybody today, we talk about paper industry, we talk about glass industry. Today, the buildings are also built off of glasses only. But do you even realize how much of the waste which is getting generated out of that? And instead of treating those waste, we are directly discharging actually into the rivers and ponds. So what we have done, we have contaminated. Ganges was said to be a sacred river actually of this country, because it used to flow from Himalayas and it used to pass through so many herbs and all. It was earlier said that the Ganges river, if you fill it actually into a glass container or in a container, it never used to get contaminated even for years and years to come. But today the condition is such that we can't even have a dip actually into Ganges river, because you get infection. It has been polluted so much because so much of the industrial waste, so much of the sewage waste, all are getting discharged actually into that. We all are working in this industry today. And you might have observed that everybody is using a DG set. Okay. How many companies are treating the exhaust actually of the DG set and discharging clean air actually into the atmosphere? Nobody is doing it. Because we think cost is becoming so important for us that even if I'm polluting the atmosphere, so many industry chimneys discharging all those gases actually into atmosphere. The best thing would have been, we could have treated that chimney exhaust and then discharge the clean air actually into the atmosphere. But nobody is doing it. That is where your community, your country, your policies becomes very important. Do you know that what is the methodology by which a government is promoting your sustainability? Anybody? Do you know that Government of India has imposed something on you? And they're forcing us to maintain that. How many of you all have heard about occupancy certificate?
Yes.
Have you all gone through that occupancy certificate anytime?
It talks about a lot of them. It talks about your fire safety of your buildings and all those stuffs, and the type of material what you're using for your construction activities. And even it talks about the various PCB norms also.
It talks about the PCB norms.
Yeah.
What all you can discharge actually. What should be the content? What are the parameters? Those parameters are defined. And if those parameters are not met, and if your environmental inspector anytime comes and inspects a building, he can issue a notice. At the same time, he has every right actually to lock out your building also. But the problem with India is that we still don't take this so seriously, in fact. So this is what government is trying to do. Your municipal corporations, they're issuing credits actually to your building. Today we talk about green buildings. Why do we talk about green buildings? Because my waste generation, there's no waste generation. We are doing the recycling in such a way that we are not generating any harmful waste. So these are what governments are doing it. India has committed actually in the Paris government that they're going to reduce the carbon footprint. Not only India, there's so many other countries also that those have taken a commitment just to protect the environment. So this is what a government can do. This is what your countries can take decisions actually, and they can implement things which will have a multiplied effect actually on the environment. But as a humans, we are the people who are doing it. Till the time we don't implement it, we don't take it seriously. If we do it just for a certification, if we just do it for occupying a building, then it is something else. But if we are very serious actually onto that, your environment gets protected. So what we need to do, development is a part and parcel of life. There has to be an economic development. We can't live without that. So we know that if there is a development, there is a side effect of that. We are creating a pollution also. We need to balance this. Till the time we don't balance it, a survival will become next to impossible actually in the coming years. So this is what sustainability does. Yeah. Any questions on this? Or if anybody wants to have any insight, actually, if you want, please remember, we are covering this. We have detailed subject actually on sustainability in our course. When you take up, if you feel like, and when people are joining those courses, we'll be discussing in brief actually on this topic. We have almost like 4-hour session actually on this subject. Yeah. Ramesh? You're there?
Yes, I'm there.
So you're taking this forward from here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, can you go back to the previous slide, please?
Yeah, Ramesh, please.
So, sustainability is not only electricity consumption or your vehicular pollution. It's related to lot many things with respect to facility management, where green cleaning or your housekeeping services also contribute to the sustainability. The kind of cleaning which you use for housekeeping services, that also impacts the quality of water which is being discharged into the into the environment. As a responsible facility manager, you are supposed to carry out sustainability analysis for your facilities. You should have a proper preventive maintenance and predictive maintenance plan. I'll explain you. And use sustainable materials and resources. I'll explain you this also. And update your assets in the building. So next slide, please. Now, first and most thing, I hope most of you may be aware, today we have around 40 people on this forum. You may be aware that the major energy consumption machinery in any facility is your air conditioning system. Okay, and I don't know whether you people have any time had a chance to analyze your power consumption pattern. That is one thing. As a towards sustainability, you people can take an initiative and start working on your power consumption analysis. Especially for any kind of building operations, 50% of total electricity consumed is consumed on HVAC. Now, normally, if we say, okay, I'll give you an example. If I give you 100 rupees and I ask you to use it for another 1 month. Now 100 rupees cannot be sustained for 1 month. So what will be your major consumption in this from this 100 rupees will be your food and on your living cost. Okay, so what you will try doing is start cutting cost towards your food consumption. So that is how you would like to sustain yourself. That is also will be like a sustainability with that 100 rupees by cutting your food cost, because majorly you will be consuming this majorly part of this 100 rupees you will be consuming on your food. So similarly, for an facility, your major electricity consumption is on HVAC. Now, believe me, detailed thing we teach in our courses on HVAC session, which goes around for 6-hour session we have on HVAC. Okay, so those who are alumni of our institute, we have already shared these inputs with them, and it's also available in a book which we have published. We are the first Indian author to publish these books on facility management with respect to our Indian environment and work policies and standards, where we have mentioned this. So what you can do, you can take corrective actions. Now I'll just ask you a question, and I will open this forum for everybody to answer. How many of you know, those who have centralized air conditioning system, how many of you know that there is a opening in a wall of your AHU room? Anybody? Hello?
Yeah, there is, sir. There is.
There is an opening in the AHU
Yes.
room, right? Now,
Yeah.
is this opening always completely open or partially open or fully completely closed?
So it will be partially open, sir.
Partially open.
Okay, how much it should be open?
35 to 40%.
Okay, and what is the purpose of this opening in the AHU room?
The intake of a fresh air, fresh air.
Okay, so as you need to maintain good indoor air quality, because you have to maintain the oxygen level, so you can't keep recycling the same air throughout the day, because the carbon dioxide content in the indoor air environment will increase and the oxygen will get depleted, and it will start impacting the health and performance of your employees. So what we do in AHU room, those who have not seen those who have never gone to AHU room, please go today or Monday, whenever you go to your office and see your AHU room. There is a opening in the wall. Now, from the answer which I got, I'm not satisfied with the answer which you people have shared with me. Now, this fresh air damper should always be 80% close. Okay, and only 20% it should remain open. Now, why it should be 80% closed? Because to ensure that oxygen level is maintained, 20% of fresh air from the environment is required, not 50%, not 60%. Okay, second thing, the more fresh air you take from the environment, so your electricity consumption will increase, because see, for example, you are maintaining 23-24 degrees Celsius temperature on your office floor, and this air, when it comes back to the AHU room, so the temperature will be around 26 or 27 degrees Celsius. Now, cooling of 27 degrees Celsius air to a temperature of 24 or 25 degrees Celsius, which you want to maintain on the floor, will consume less electricity. Go back to the previous slide, Jitendra. So you will consume less electricity. But if you take the air from the environment in summer season, the air temperature may be somewhere around 38 degree or 40 degree. Places like North India or Chennai, here the temperature may be somewhere around 48 or 49 degrees Celsius. Okay, now cooling that air to 25 degrees Celsius temperature will require HVAC plant to work more and consume more electricity. So that's the reason we have to maintain the requirement of fresh air which we are taking in. So please go to your office on this Monday, look at this fresh air damper. Believe me, whichever facility I visited till today in my this 32-33 years of career, I find people are not aware about the importance of this fresh air, fresh air intake. Okay, so you should check that, and by controlling this fresh air input, you can control your electricity consumption. Now, a lot of time your AC units become old. So they become old, so they become inefficient. So if you find in your facility any split AC or ductable split AC which is 8 to 10 years old, so have a plan, get it budgeted in your annual budget program to get it replaced, because the efficiency, you don't use boilers, so your electricity consumption can be controlled by having a air conditioning system which is latest in technology, and a new system will consume less electricity. Next is ensure periodic cleaning of heat exchangers. Now, heat exchanger means the media which transfers heat from one media to another media. Now, in your air conditioning system, your indoor air unit. If you have a split AC, if you have a cassette AC, then the cassette unit which is suspended to the ceiling. And if you have a centralized AC, it is your chiller plant where condenser and evaporators are there, and your AHU. So ensure that every year you should get this AHU coil cleaning done without any fail. Now, if we do not do that, what will happen? See what happens in the environment. You anyhow you end up taking 20% of air from the atmosphere, fresh air from the atmospheres. Now this air contains pollutants, dust. Okay, sorry. So this dust and pollution get settled on the tube through which the chilled water is moving. Or if you have your indoor AC unit, the coil will be having this dust settled on into it. And because of this dust settlement, the heat transfer will not take place easily. So that's the reason whenever you have this cassette AC, split AC, you should go for a wet servicing at least once in every 6 months. Okay, so if you keep doing this periodically, I think you can control your electricity consumptions. Nowadays, we have this facade buildings, so ensure that the windows are energy efficient models, which has double or triple glazing and low emissivity coatings. This can help you in reducing your heat transfer, because in summer season, if you see the facade glass which is facing towards the sunlight, that area becomes more hotter as compared to other area of the office. So by introducing all this glazing thing, you can control the heat transfer, heat getting into your workplace, and the AC getting overheated in this area. Okay, undertake periodic air balancing for your HVAC ducting. Now, what happens? I have observed a number of Ashish. I'll come to your questions. I'll give you a chance. Just allow me some time. I hope you must have seen that whenever a employee complains to you that there is excess cooling in his area, or there is less cooling in some area, so what you as a facility managers, you end up doing, you end up pasting a paper in the air grills in that area from where you have got complaint, right? And this is the practice which is followed by most of the facility managers. And whenever I see this kind of arrangement, I always object to it. I said this is not the right way of managing your facility. So what you're supposed to do, if you start getting complaints of irregular cooling in your workplace, so instead of doing this kind of paste work, go for a air balancing done. Now, what is air balancing? Air balancing is a process where whenever a new facility is created, so the HVAC consultant designs amount of air to be thrown through each diffuser. Okay, and if this amount of air supply is disturbed, which will result into the poor cooling in some area and excess cooling in some area. So what you are supposed to do, whenever you take over a new facility from the project team, you should ensure that this air balancing drawing is taken over from your project team. And whenever you find this kind of issues are coming up, suggest your management to go for a air balancing. It hardly costs anything. Instead of pasting that paper, go for a air balancing, get the air balancing done, and it will resolve your problem. Have a stringent predictive and preventive maintenance plan in place. Now, I can give you an example, like you have an electrical infrastructure, okay, and in all facilities we have electricity distribution system at various which will be a need of the facilities. Now what happens, over a period of time, the terminals of this connections of this cables, they get loosened up because of the expansion and contraction, because of the heat generated when the current is flowing through these cables and the connections. So these joints, the terminations get loosened up. Now, what you can do as a predictive maintenance program, you can do a thermography and you'll come to know the condition of the termination, which normally you cannot find out from your naked eyes. So with thermography report, you can carry out a maintenance activity where these terminations are tightened, because see what happens if there is a minor gap generated because of the loose connection, the current will start jumping from one terminal to the another terminal, and that will result into the excess consumptions of your electricity. Other thing, like you can do a periodic load balancing your electricity distribution system, because if the poor load balancing is there, the current leakage will be there. Okay, so these are the things. Now I think some people have raised some questions, so go ahead, Ashish. What do you want to know about the facade, please?
So thank you, sir. So facades, okay. Generally, uh, as a facility in charge, do we need to do a yearly facade testing done by the third party authority, because these facades will be generating some gases? So is it mandatory? Because some of the norms says that facade testing is required. Is it
No,
mandatory?
no. As per our laws, it is nowhere mentioned that the facade testing is required. I'll tell you, a lot of facility or project team, they end up doing one kind of mistake is you'll find that a lot of people may be having a complaint from the, especially first thing, whenever you're doing a project, okay, whenever you're doing a new office fit outs, do not construct any cabins or meeting rooms attached to the facade. Now, again, this is towards the sustainability, because the cabins or the meeting rooms restrict the flow of natural light onto the floor, and you end up, using artificial lights for your works in the daytime. So first thing, you should avoid having cabins and meeting rooms or any kind of room near the facade. Second thing, uh, one more mistake the project team does, they do not calculate the motion of sunlight on the facade. Okay, so the movement of sunlight and the way the sunlight impacts a facade, that will directly impact the quality of air conditioning you are providing on your floor, because of this direct sunlight, the heat in near the facade area will be more, because if you do not have the right quality of facade glass. So as I said, that you should have a energy efficient models of the windows, and you should have at least double or triple glazing on this window, so that the sunlight heat transfer is minimal. And second thing, as an corrective action, we should ensure that some amount of HVAC should be directly flowing, air, conditioned air should be flowing on the facade glass. So this will work as a curtain, and it will maintain a gap between the facade heat generated from the facade, and it will avoid any direct impact on the people working near the facade area. So with respect to Ashish, there is no such regulation of having these testings near the for the facade.
No, so actually, I handle the global market for my company. Okay, but
Mhm,
some of the countries like South America, North America, and the European countries where we have presence,
mhm.
so we get some notice for this testing should be done.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, in our country, there is no such testings. So we do not do. I have never seen, any municipal corporation or any government agency asking for this test certificates.
But sir, on the sustainability part, don't you think that we should get it tested even in India also? Now we are
No,
talking on the sustainable model.
right. We should get it tested, and if we find that the facade glass is not efficient, then we should go ahead with replacing of this facade glass. But till now, in
But
our
it's a
country, this
challenge.
is not there. Right.
But it's a challenge of replacing a facade once you are fixed those things, because over a period as the age goes on or the age gets what you call the year on year the glass gets what you called, I can say that it generates some gases because of the pasting what they do in the at the OEM side.
Right,
So obviously there will be some issues.
right, right. Right. So I will not be in position to comment on this because we do not have any regulation with respect to this, Ashish.
Sure, sir.
Okay. Siddesh, you had a question where you said why 20% fresh air, right? Now, this 20% of fresh air it will, pump it into the sufficient amount of oxygen on the floor. So what should be the carbon dioxide level maintained on the floor, Siddesh? Are you aware?
No, sir, I'm not aware.
So 600 to 700 ppm is the carbon dioxide content. So there is two way to control the carbon dioxide level on your floor. One is automation and another is non-automation. So the process which I have explained you is a non-automatic system. There is another automatic system where you can have this fresh air damper in AHU room controlled by a carbon dioxide sensor. And this carbon dioxide sensor can be placed at various locations on your floor, and these sensors will keep monitoring the carbon dioxide level. So in that case, it will have a double impact where you can save on your electricity consumption by not allowing the fresh air to enter inside, recycling the same air. And as soon as your carbon dioxide level reaches 600 ppm, there will be a command which will go to this fresh air damper to open up and start sending the fresh air. And with the fresh air, the amount of oxygen which you will get will be sufficient to suppress the carbon dioxide level. So the amount of oxygen which you get with the 20% of fresh air will be sufficient to suppress your carbon dioxide level and maintain the better indoor air quality. That is only the reason and logic behind having this 20% fresh air onto the floor. I hope I have answered. Yes, yeah, please.
Ramesh, question and Sunil. In the summer season, yes, the 20% of the pressure dam one is correct. What we've been doing. So such.
Your voice is breaking up. We can't hear you completely.
Now?
No, there is a lot of disturbance in your.
Just a moment.
Okay. So just to add one more thing, there is something known as pre-night cooling, and there is also known as one more cooling. Where in winter season, especially the offices who work 24/7, like BPOs, and you have a night shift working. So especially in winter season, places like Bangalore, Mumbai, Pune, Delhi, Nagpur, in these cities in winter season. Your environmental temperature will be less as compared to the temperature required on your floor. So especially in Delhi NCR, what we do, we switch off the centralized air conditioning system. We only run the AHUs. But in cities like Bangalore and Pune, where temperature does not drop like as Delhi NCR or north part of the country, here the temperature will be somewhere around 18 or 16 or 18 degrees Celsius. So what you can do, so what you can do is, Hanuman, I'll answer your question. So let me understand first your question. So what you can do is switch off your centralized air conditioning system, and in night time you can start taking 100% fresh air from the environment. And because this temperature, if your air temperature outside is 18 degrees Celsius, if you send it through the AHU on your floor, so naturally the temperature will temperature will further rise to 22 degrees Celsius, and as per the International Labour Organization, 22 to 23 degrees Celsius temperature is good to maintain during the winter season. As per the International Labour Organization and ASHRAE standards, you can maintain 25 to 26 degrees Celsius on temperature on your floor during the summer seasons. during the summer season. So whenever if somebody says that 25 degrees Celsius temperature is hot, you can always challenge your people saying that this is as per the ASHRAE standards and as per the International Labour Organization standards. Yeah, Mr. Sunil, if you are clear now, you can speak up.
That was clear now.
Okay, thank you. So Hanuman said, so why are showing error and how to solve this problem? What is your question, Hanuman? You can speak up.
Good afternoon, sir.
Noise from your end.
Hello.
Yeah.
I'm audible, sir.
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay. I'm saying, sir. Okay, lots of time I was noticed the remote HU remote error, lots of error showing. For example, error 7, LP error, LC error. So why are you showing this error in remote and how to solve this problem?
So Hanumant, this is not the forum to ask this kind of question. You attend our training program and we'll discuss. Today we are talking about the sustainability part. So I do not wish to, because we had a timeline of 1 hour to complete. It's already 1.5 hours, and we have extended the timing, and there are 3-4 slides left out. So if you want to learn about these things, you need to attend our training program. Okay, so I'll not be able to answer this question at this moment. Sorry for that. Jitendra, please take us to the next slide. Now, next part is water. So, I will not be able to talk much about on this because this is a very, generic kind of system, issue which you can handle it. Install a low water fixtures in your taps. Okay, have a regular checks of leakage. Low water fixtures are available nowadays in market. Basically, the bubbler in front of the tap can be replaced with the low flow of bubbler, and this will help us in saving the water. Okay, STP plants is now mandatory as per the law for all the commercial and residential complexes. So they have to do recycling of water. So that is another important thing. Third important thing is please have a regular checks of your washrooms and wherever you have a water supply system for leakages. Like at times what happens, the flush wall gets stuck into its place and resulting into wastage of unnecessary flushing of water and wastage of water. So what you can do is ask your housekeeping staff, brief them every day that if they find any flush wall which is stuck into its place, to be informed to your maintenance team immediately so that your plumber can take an immediate action. A lot of places you must have seen the urinal, flush-free urinals. So if you are occupying a complete building or complete section of the building, I would always suggest you to go for a flush-free urinals. There are bio blocks available in the market. You need to buy this block and install, fix this block. Fix means just place it inside the urinal, and the main urea content from your urine, which basically generates the foul smell, will be eaten away by the bacteria in these blocks, and it will keep your urinals neat and clean. Once in a week you will have to do a deep cleaning of these urinals. So imagine if you have 100 people working in your office, a person on an average in air conditioning environment in 9 hours uses 3 to 4 times a washroom, and every flush around 4 to 5 liters of water is flushed for the after use of every flushing. So a single person consumes 20 liter of water just for flushing purpose. Okay, urinal flushing purpose. Forget about if somebody uses a toilet block, so that will consume another 8 to 10 liters of water. So you can 20 liters into 100 people means 2000 liters per day on 100 people you can save every day by having this flush free urinal. So you can, save this quantity of water. Next is, if you have bigger kitchen or a smaller kitchen, you're supposed to install a oil water separator at the kitchen outlet, wherever you wash utensils, vegetables. So what happens whenever the utensils are washed, a huge amount of oil content also gets washed away with this water, and this gets into your wastewater. Now this oil content with the water, if it gets into your sewage treatment plant, it reduces the efficiency of sewage treatment plant. So nowadays, if you see, if you're coming up with a facility in a good commercial complex, there will be mandatory requirement from the developer side to have this oil water separator installed in your kitchen. Now, oil water separator job is, whatever the oil is content is there in the drain water in the wastewater, that will be trapped into this oil water separator, and only water with other biological waste will be going further ahead. Now, this oil, when accumulated, it needs a periodic cleaning. So every week you're supposed to clean it, remove this oil, and this is being, recycled or sold it to the recyclers who use it for manufacturing of soap and all those stuff. Okay, so what you can do, have installed this oil water separator in your kitchen outlet. You can also use biochemicals, which again, there is a bacteria which will eat away this oil content from the wastewater. So you can do that. You must have seen today, it's a fashion to have this small 200 ml water bottles. Please stop it if possible. Convince your management to stop it in your meeting room instead of keeping this bottle. Just give me a second, please. Sorry, I had some meeting lined up. So, in a meeting room, place water glasses. A jug full of water can be placed in the meeting room. Those who wants to consume water can use this water from the jug. Unnecessary this 20 ml, 200 or 100 ml water bottle which use, people consume half of it. Half of the water is thrown or wasted, and the plastic gets into the waste thing, recycling. That's another problematic thing. Next important thing is administrative control. Now you have a kitchen area where people end up wasting the food. So, put up a board there, say that how much food is being wasted by the people on a daily basis. And this will give a message that people not to waste the food, because this food, there are a lot of people who are hungry out there, and they even don't get that kind of food. So you can reduce the, wastage of food material going into the garbage bins or getting into the recycling plants. Okay. Jitendra, next slide, please. You can go to the full screen and next slide, please. Now, housekeeping, we use a lot of chemicals for the housekeeping services. So conventional cleaning products often contains harmful, ingredients like organic compound. Now that organic compound poses a risk for consumers and employees and contractors also. So if you opt for a eco-friendly, chemicals, that will less impact the health of the people who are handling this chemical, and also will have less impact on the wastewater. So before buying this kind of chemical, you can check for the green seal whether these chemicals are real green, or it's just for namesake it is green. So there are a lot of companies such as Grenova, Ecocam, Halide, and they manufacture eco-friendly cleaning chemicals, and they are available in the market. So as a responsible, facility manager, you can ask your agencies to go for this kind of cleaning chemicals instead of going for chemicals which are harmful for the environment. Next slide, please, Jitendra. waste management. So waste management also plays very important role. So do not just hand over the waste to any agency who can dispose it off anywhere on the roadside. So you should always get in touch with the government authorized waste haulers who will be ensuring that instead of dumping this garbage or waste into a landfill, they recycle it scientifically, and the waste is not impacting our environment. Next, please. Jitendra, next slide, please.
Done, Ramesh. Maintenance plan in place.
So, you have to have your right kind of maintenance plan in place. So I gave you an example. You can have a predictive maintenance plan. You can have periodic cleaning of the heat exchangers of air conditioning system. So if you carry out your maintenance activities in time, and as per in time, I think you can avoid a lot of wastages. I gave you an example of your HVAC where there are hot pockets or cold pockets is being generated on the floor. So what you can do, instead of just doing a patch up work, go for a air balancing, and with the right air balancing you can control your electricity consumption and have a better happy customers on the floor. Then there is something known as robotic duct cleaning, because over a period of time, a lot of dust gets accumulated in the ducting system. So if you do a periodic robotic duct cleaning, you must have observed that there is a blackish color, the false ceiling around the diffuser from where the air is being supplied, that becomes black. So it ultimately impacts the health of the employee, because those dust getting inhaled by an employee will impact their health. So you can have a periodic robotic duct cleaning for your ducting system. Okay, you can have periodic maintenance plan in place. I can give you an example. In one of the student of our batch, from Pune, that time we used to conduct the physical classes. So he said, sir, come to our facility. Myself and Jitendra both went to his facility, and what we observed, there are 3 to 4 UPS which were operating at 5% load, and they were operating in the parallel. So we suggested him to switch off at least one, so that you can have N+1 kind of arrangement in your data center, which will fulfill your requirement, and that will reduce wastage of your electricity consumptions. So in that way, that our student, he started almost saving 5 to 8 lakh rupees per month by simply just switching off some of the non-useful equipment, and having the required equipment only operational. He started around saving 5 to 8 lakh rupees per month. So that kind of saving. We have another case from Bangalore. Again, one of our student implemented what we taught him into the classroom. He implemented in his office spaces, and he also started around saving 3 to 4 lakh rupees per month. So that kind of impact benefit your company and your organization can have from your learnings. Yeah, somebody asked me a question that, how much months, frequency of robotic duct cleaning. So what I would suggest, it should not be done annually, but at least once in 2 years, you should also always do. Or whenever you find that the false ceiling near your diffuser is becoming black, so that is clear indication that you should go for a air balancing. Now, I'll tell you one more thing. This is again related to maintenance. Whenever you find that black smoke is emanating from your diesel engine, okay, it can be your diesel generator, it can be your car, petrol car, your bike. If it is emanating black or white smoke, it clear indicates that your vehicle or your engine is started polluting the environment. So the color of smoke should always be transparent. So if engine is running, and if you look at their silencer, you can always, you should not be able to identify that whether the engine is running or not. The smoke color should be, you should not be able to see the color of the smoke. It should be transparent. Okay, so in that way, you can maintain your equipment and avoid any pollution into the environment. So next slide, please. Jitendra. So what you can do, you can use environment-friendly packaging products. Use low VOC products. Now, a lot of people will be scratching their head. What is VOC? So VOC is a volatile organic compound. Now, the paint which we use in our facility, the furnishing we use in our facility, the carpet we use in our facility, they emanate organic compound because they somewhere chemicals are being used to manufacturing these products. So whenever you are going for a new office place, you should always look for a low VOC products so that they emanate less organic compound, because this organic compound is not good for the environment and also not good for the health of the people who are in that area. Now I'll give you an example. So whenever you buy a new cloth or whenever you buy a new car, and when you enter your new car, you find a typical kind of smell emanating from your car. Now, what is that smell? That smell is a organic compound, which is being released by the, plastic dashboard, upholstery, the ceiling of the car, the paint of the car. So they emanate this organic compound, and it's not good for the environment and it's not good for your health. So use low VOC product. Install indoor indoor plants in your facility. This will enhance the oxygen level. It will consume the pollutants in the workplace. Do not construct cabin near facade, which I have already shared. Use IoT-based monitoring systems such as BMS and smart sensors. You can have sensors installed, motion detectors installed in your meeting rooms and your cabins, where if there is no occupancy in the cabin or meeting room, the lights and AC should automatically get switched off. Okay, monitor your energy consumption and water consumption data, and if you find any anomalies in this data, take corrective action. Run your equipments or assets only when it is necessary. Increase the temperature of facility in the summer by a couple of degrees. As I said, 25-26 degrees is as per the ASHRAE standards and International Labour Organization standard. You can maintain that kind of temperature. I see in offices, people are shivering and they are maintaining that kind of temperature. That's not the right thing to do. Maintain unity power factor for your electricity. So basically power factor avoids wastage of electricity, so you had to maintain the unity power factor. Ensure your suppliers are committed to sustainability. Make it part of your procurement process. Avoid using packaged sugar for tea. Nowadays you will find that small sachet of sugar is being provided along with tea coffee vending machine. It is generating huge amount of waste. Instead of having a big packet of sugar provided in a big jar with a spoon, and the people can take a spoon of sugar from this jar for their tea and coffee, instead of having that small sachets. Okay, so you can use it. Yes, Ganesh, I have already spoken about motion sensors in AC. Next slide, please. So you can have motion sensors, light sensor, air conditioning sensor. You should have a variable air volume controls in your centralized air conditioning. Try and source energy from renewable sources. There are a lot of agencies now available. Replace your old windows or air conditioners with a new one. If your floor is on a top floor, then have a cool roofing on top of it, that so that your heat load is reduced, and adopting facilities to a more sustainable design and infrastructure. So whenever you construct a new facility or you come up with a new facility office spaces, so adopt a sustainable design and infrastructure in this facility. Next, please. So there are a number of problems in the world today. The underlying cause in this current socio-economic system, and technocracy aims to replace the current system with the alternative system. So our intention should always be there. We should always look for technology or a process or to ensure that impact on environment, impact on consumption of natural resources is minimized as far as possible. So next slide, please. I think we have finished the slides today. Okay, so with this, we want to conclude today's session. If you are having any questions, next 5-10 minutes, we can, answer your questions, and then we can close on. If you want to learn more, we conduct 2.5 month,